Hey guys, it's Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely, where we carry the largest selection of wood flowers in the United States. Welcome back to another tutorial. Okay, so before I filmed this, just less than 24 hours ago, I did something to my back. I have no idea what I did. I'm in a lot of pain, but we're gonna push through. And this is a great time for me to try something I saw recently in one of the Facebook groups. Yes, I do follow a lot of the Facebook groups that are either about crafting and or wood flowers, just so I can always kind of keep a pulse on what's going on in the industry. And I had saw somebody mention that they had built their bouquet in a vase and it made it much easier. And I thought that's an interesting concept. So let's give that a go. If this works and it's your first time then making a bouquet besides the bundle technique, which I really, really love, but I won't push on you if you're a little nervous about it, this might be another great option to make your bouquet yourself, or have all of your bridesmaids come hang out with you and they all get to make their own bouquets and you each have your own vase to kind of help you navigate that. So that's what we're gonna do today. It's gonna be an easy one so that I can just not have to think a ton and we can just craft to craft. I'm also going to walk you through a little bit of my thought process when it comes to picking out greenery and colors for a bouquet. I get asked that a lot and it's kind of hard for me to figure out how to put it into words, so hopefully I can show you and talk you through it and it might help you a little bit. So with that in mind, first up, let's grab the flowers. The color story started, of course, with pink, because it always does with me. And what I did was I just grabbed a whole bunch of raw and dyed flowers from various different dyed assortments that we've carried in the past to create my color story. I've done this too, though, like just pulling paint bottles and grabbing my color story that way. So the flowers we have in this bouquet, we have 3 Diegos with the yellow beaded stamens. I think that's how you say it. Maybe. Then we have 2 different versions of lovely, some light pink. I have 5 light pink and 3 light yellow. Then we have Gertrude, also known as Gertie. I wanted to throw in some bark colors in there too to tie that in with the thistles. And then I have 3 dollies. So we have a total of what? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17? Is that right? Let's see, 3, that's 9, another 3, that's 12. Yep, 17 flowers. So we'll see how big of a bouquet that creates. The other, I like to do things in 3s. 1s, 3s, 5s is typically what I do, but that's just my personal preference. I had 2 of these cute little pink carnations, but I only had 2, so we're not gonna add these in. Ideally, I would like 3 to 5 of these, especially 5 with them being the smaller size. So instead I have a different idea to pull that little bit of light pink. So that's the start of our greenery process, so let's break that down next. Here is the vase that I'm going to be using. I believe I got this from a floral arrangement that was sent to me, possibly. The dollar store has a lot of vases. Then you could get the same one for everybody if you're doing a whole bridal party to make their own bouquet. I would do something with a little bit of that lip there, but it's also, it tightens things, so you can't make it, like, you don't want a really big open vase. You want something with a little bit of a smaller inset in there. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but you know what I'm saying. If it's too open, then the bouquet is going to be huge. But if we're keeping it in that kind of shape, that'll help us keep the size of our bouquet from not becoming like a monstrosity or a monstrous bouquet, unless you want monstrous bouquets, which is great because I love those too. But typically, I think for bridesmaids and things, you go with a little bit of a smaller one. So grab yourself a vase. If you don't have a dollar store near you or you don't like the vases that the dollar store has, thrift stores are a great option, garage sales, depending on the time of the year, to collect all of the vases for everybody so that they have one as their like mechanics, so to speak. So here's the vase I'm going to be using, and I already showed we have this mixed eucalyptus greenery that's going to be my base. And this one in particular, I didn't cut anything off. Normally I cut everything off, the stems, but I did not. This might still be in the shop at this time. This one comes and goes as available. So then, okay, that's my starting off base. Here's my flowers. So now we're gonna pick out all of the rest of the fillers and colors to go in there. So let's break those down next. Personally, as you can see, like lots of different fillers. So we pulled this from the filler wall along with the pink billy balls. I have some other pink stuff in here, but I'm focusing on the pink billy balls, and that's where that light pink is gonna come from. So I'm gonna get like 5 of these. One, two, yeah, we'll do at least 5 of those will be in there. I also grabbed, this only has 2 like berries on the stem. This was from Target, I think a while ago. Yeah, 2020. Oh jeez. And I have some other fillers from other craft stores, as well as things that we've had in the past that are no longer available, like these cream berries. I'm just debating on how much cream I want to bring in. I think we're going to use these instead of this, so I'm going to set that aside. Do got a lot of round stuff happening with some of the filler. I also grabbed but didn't show this, like I've got this antique Astilbe, and then there's one other one, I can't remember the name of this, but it's a mixed pick. I grabbed each of those, took them off individually and stemmed them up because they are short stems. I also, surprise, surprise to nobody, grabbed our Italian Ruscus, also in individual stems. I just chopped those all off and then slid all of the greenery up so that we have a little bit of a longer base in there. And then the last thing I grabbed was our blush eucalyptus. I feel like that color story is gonna work, that pink works really well with everything else we've got going on. So then what I do is when I'm like, okay, these are what I'm gonna be working with, I grab everything and give myself a little bit of a bundle. That's the story we're telling. Now, do we like that? And do we, maybe we do need, I think we might need that cream in there. So we'll probably grab that. And then again, here are the flowers to go with everything. So I did pull a lot of more pink because that's kind of my favorite color for sure. I'm debating about that particular yellow though. I feel like that orangey yellow over there plays better. It pulls a little bit more of the yellow or the orange undertone, a little bit of the Diego's. And this one's just a little bit more of a, like a mustard yellow. It's a little bit darker. So I think we're gonna pull that one. We'll see. Once we get going, I'll keep it to the side. Maybe we need it in there, but I'm not 100% sure we do. So there's all of our greenery. So we're gonna we are going to build our bouquet base, our greenery base first, and then we'll add in the flowers. That's how I like to do it when it comes to this kind of stuff, not bit by bit. We're gonna make our actual greenery bouquet first. This is gonna be pretty, you guys, isn't it? I think it is, and I think, yeah, we might need to add that in there. Okay, let's do this. Now, if you've never worked with the flowers before, what I like to do is similar to when we work with our bundle technique, we're going to group everything individually in its own little group so that everything is kind of laid out together. We're starting off with that one as our main. Okay, so we've got those ready to go. We do need to snip off these and these and this one, so let's show you how to do that. So for this one, I'm not a huge fan of the leaves that are on there, but we may just keep them on or pull that completely off all the way. That's great. Let's bring that back. There we go. Okay. So this one has all been scooted up, and we're just going to snap it at the bottom base. These are long enough that I don't need to add an additional wire so that we can use them easily. There's that one. Same thing with this one. We're just going to cut it off right at the base. For this one, I'm just going to do 3 for now. We'll keep the rest on the side and we may use those. We'll see. We do also carry 2 different types of a still bee in the cream color, similar. There's one like this and there's a different style. If you're using those, again, you would just take a wire, loop it around the bottom base and pinch it together. You can also then add some floral tape if you want. Now this one splits here. This one has a shorter stem, so I'm going to cut here. So this one has a longer stem right here. And then this one we're gonna cut down here on the main base of the stem so that we have a long enough stem but not so long that it's going to be bothersome. And then we have that yellow to the side. The last one, the pink blush eucalyptus. This little raffia ribbon you can take off. There is a wire that holds everything together. You can either untwist it or cut it like I do. And then you have 4 individually stemmed up pieces of blush eucalyptus. That's perfect. All right, so we are set with all of our extra fillers. Let's get to adding it into the vase. All right, this is already in place. I am going to scoot, kind of rearrange. That one in particular, I'm gonna have go into the middle, and we're gonna build off around that, if that makes sense, some of the direction of my hands. I'm gonna go first in with the the Italian ruscus. I have, I think 5 or 6 of these stems. 1, 2, 6. Yeah, 6 of them. So I'm going around in a circle, kind of trying to get my wires maybe wrapped in a little bit on the bottom of that as well, but not necessary. So I went around, and then I'm going to focus as well in the inside in like a triangle basically. So 1, 2, 3, all surrounding that bigger piece. Those are in place. Next up, I think we'll add the eucalyptus, the blush, since that gives a decent amount of stuff going on with that. So what we've done here is kind of like a mirror technique. I have one over here, one over here, one over here, one over here. Then I am going to add one into the center, and that's going to be kind of a triangle then. So you've got a triangle here, triangle there, triangle there. So kind of push that through a little bit in a couple different spots. I'm also going to bring a couple down so they're floating in different areas. Set this aside just in case, kind of like what we did with the blush eucalyptus. We can add it in if we have a gaping hole once the flowers are in, or that's just, it's exactly what we needed and we don't need to do anything else. Okay, so we got that in there. So basically, if we're gonna do something like this in a group setting, kind of the mindset then going in is when you're picking out your greenery, I went basically thinking about it as 1 stem per bouquet, but it's gonna depend. Like if some of the fillers are pretty big, you can, and you're only gonna do 3 stems, for example, like this one is still bee, you could do, cut it up and each person gets 3 pieces of that, and space it out. Or you could just give everybody 1 individual, each gets 1 of those fillers. Okay, so the billy balls, sorry, I'm like rambling as we're going through. The billy balls, I'm going to wait to put until the end. Possibly the same with these. Well, let's put them in and see what we think. I think it's looking lovely to me. Okay, so here, there's this like really big indentation, like dent. So I am going to fill it with some of those berries. These are pretty massive, so I'm only going to do 2 of them, I think, and we're gonna mirror them. So one on this side, one on that side. That's what my gut's telling me to do, so that is what I will do. Okay. So that is in place. All right, there's the start of the base, and then just so you can see, pull it up. And now we have a lovely bouquet. I'm gonna put it back in though, because we're not done. Let's get to adding the flowers next. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with my largest flower first. It's gonna take up the most space, and I've got 3 of those. So my thought process, I don't have one right now as far as for sure where I want the placement to go, but we're just gonna pop those 3 in and then adjust as needed. So the big ones are in. Definitely, this is a little bit more, it's not a super traditional round. I guess you would consider it maybe just to be a little bit more wild. You can, though, use this technique, I think, to make a very round bouquet if you wanted to as well. All right, I'm going to go in with my pink flowers next since I have so many of those. We've got 5 of those, so let's get those in there. Those flowers look pretty dang cute all on their own. Like, I don't feel like I necessarily would need to add more flowers if I didn't want to. You could get away with less flowers and more filler, or you can do less filler, more flowers. It's really, really, really up to you. And these light yellows, I have 3 of those, and I am surrounding the lower circumference, I think is the right word for that, of this bouquet. All right, so that is done. I'm really loving this kind of slightly asymmetrical shape we've got going on too. We'll tuck that in just a little bit. Okay. Then we've got yet the billy balls we want to add in there. And I don't know that we're going to add anything more. I feel like we're pretty good with our filling of this vase and making a nice full lush bouquet. I'm not right now, at least, seeing any massive holes. I'm just looking for little ones to fill in different spots. So we've got 1 here, 1 here, 1 there. Okay, so we've got a triangle of those. We've got 2 more. So we'll do 1 down here. So now we've got a triangle there. And then we've got those 2. So we'll add 1 down here. Okay, and that one, I do need to cut a little bit. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now that our bouquet is done, let's pull this out and I will show you how we're gonna finish the bouquet handle. Goodness me, I forgot to put in these little berries, and I've already cut them, so we're gonna put them in there. We only have 2 of these. Now all of the filler is in place and we can get this out of the jar. Okay. Final truth. All right, so this is a very thick, well, not super thick, but it's a pretty thick bottom of a handle. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a zip tie. See if this one's big enough. I might need to get a bigger one. No worries. Got multiple different sizes of zip ties. I like using zip ties more than the tape when it comes to something like this. It's just, it goes by a lot easier, I feel like, to use it that way. I'm actually pretty impressed. Most of the wires too are similarly
long, so the cleanup at the end is not going to be that bad either. Okay. So I do have a few shorter wires I can see at the bottom, so I want to make sure that those are included in my zip tie. And then we're going to get this nice and tight. Anywhere where I have leaves kind of stuck, it happens sometimes, I'm just going to pull those off because they're going to get in the way of our actual stem. Okay. That's looking pretty good in terms of the handle itself. Now we're gonna finish this off with some corn broom. We haven't done that in a while. So let's grab some corn broom and I'll show you how to use that. So we carry corn broom at ohyourlovely.com and they come in these nice little bundles. You can get, well, we'll see. It's like you can get quite a few different bouquets done with, I would think probably 2 you could get done with that bundle, possibly 3, depending on how thick your wire or your base is, if it's a pretty thick handle or if it's a thinner handle. We're gonna grab some vinyl tape just to have on hand, because what we're gonna do, now I like the more rigid or the more like kind of unfinished to go in this direction. You can also put it in that direction. It really just depends on what you like to do. And I'm gonna take my bundle and we're gonna kind of slide it up, squish it up a little bit into our bouquet. Now the one thing that this bouquet technique leaves is that you've got like a very tapered edge, like it's very blunt as far as where the greenery starts and where your handle had ended. We're just gonna kind of adjust. We're gonna tuck in the wires when we can, and again, sliding it up on our handle. That is nice and done. So we're gonna grab our floral tape. I'm going slightly lower. You could use zip ties too, but I'm going to be putting a ribbon around this part to hide the tape. So I'm just going to wrap it there. You know, actually, because I'm going to be cutting a ton of this, you would probably be able to use that for other things as well. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting it right there. It's a decent amount of cutting that's about to happen. And I know this is a very pink heavy kind of bouquet, sort of, but I have this light yellow velvet ribbon that I think I want to use to pull in that lighter yellow shade we have kind of circling out. I'm also going to adjust just a little bit my flowers, make sure I'm happy with where they're sitting. But here's the bouquet now. Handle. Let me go clean up all of this corn broom and we'll get the ribbon on and we'll show you the final bouquet. All right, you guys, there is the final bouquet. I just like to tie ribbons. I don't do anything fancy with them, but you can if you want. I actually wasn't intentional, but the way that I tied off the ribbon is actually to the side, because this bouquet, like, it just has just a little perfect little divot so that it can go right up against my body and I'm not feeling like I'm gonna crush or ruin anything, but it sits nice right there. That was not intended or purposely done, but it was a very happy accident. I'm thinking this is a great little tip and thing to try, especially if you haven't made a bouquet yet and you want to give it a go. You're a little bit nervous, and the idea of like taking and making little bundles and putting them all together sounds a little overwhelming for you, this might be another option. So again, you can get those glass jars, thrift stores, the dollar store, garage sales. If you want all of them to be the exact same shape for, say, if you're gonna have a bridal party come over and everybody makes their own bouquets, you can have everything ready to go for them and they're just going to sit in and make their own bouquet, and everything will be cohesive but yet individual to each person. How fun is that? I love it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm really glad I saw that comment and gave it a go. I think this is a really great way to make a bouquet. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. If you're loving these videos, tutorials, can't get enough, want to know the next time we post a video, which is typically on Wednesdays, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell. You guys, I'm so sorry. I'm out of breath with how I'm feeling. So let's power through, shall we? To find out about all of the wood flowers, we do have raw as well as some dyed flowers. The collection of dyed flowers is getting bigger and bigger as time goes on, so take a look at those. I love to grab our dyed flowers and mix and match with other dyed assortments. Dyeing flowers isn't nearly as enjoyable for me as it used to be. I don't get as much creative fun from that. Creating is more fun for me right now. But we basically can either, whatever part journey you are on with wood flowers, did that even make sense? I'm not sure if it did. Hopefully it did. But we have whatever you need. If you just want to create and you don't want to have to worry about dyeing the flowers, we got you. You want to dye the flowers and make them over the top, realistic, lots of layering, you got that too. Or you can just dip dye them like an Easter egg. There's that too. Okay, enough of the rambling. We also have Greenery, craft supplies, this corn broom, all sorts of other items over at ohyourlovely.com. And before you go over there to check it all out, let me give you something. Use the code YouTube30 to get 30% off your first order of regular priced items. Okay, I'm going to rest and probably cry a little bit. I will see you guys here next week for another tutorial. I'm Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely, and you, my friends, are absolutely lovely. Bye guys.